I remember them clearly. E.T.'s final words to Elliot before taking off in his spaceship. With big wet eyes, he places his glowing fingertip on Elliot's forehead, right on his ajna chakra, and says, "I'll be right here." In Hinduism, the ajna chakra is known as the third eye and is said to connect people to their intuition and to the ultimate truth, the divine consciousness. This scene is often interpreted as a metaphor for the bittersweet nature of growing up, where we must eventually say goodbye to parts of ourselves. As children, we are often asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? The probability, sustainability, financial security, and potential challenges of a career are stripped away from this question so that children might listen to their inner voice and dream freely of not just a job, but of an entire identity. What do you want to be? This might yield some preposterous answers like, I want to be a movie star, or I want to be an astronaut and fly to the moon. Soon enough, our gender, class, heritage, geography, and all the other socio-cultural markers we are born with, things that are beyond our immediate control, begin to collide with real-life experiences, and it may become evident that our childhood dreams are impractical, unrealistic, even impossible. In fact, some research suggests that a staggering 96% of people do not end up in their childhood dream job. They say they didn't have the resources or opportunities to pursue them. Yet, what happens to our childhood dreams? Do they disappear? No, they live secretly inside us. Roughly 65% of people wish they would have pursued their childhood dream job, and of those who did not, they are twice as likely to be unhappy. So what about this 4% of the population who let their childhood dreams dictate the direction of their lives? Well, I am one of those people. In 1982, I was 12 years old when E.T. came out. Since then, no other film has had such a profound impact on me. I was born and raised in a Southern Baptist evangelical home, and the only way I could describe what I felt back then is the same way I would describe it now. I got the calling in E.T. God spoke to me, and God said, "Your purpose on this earth is to make movies." I did not know yet the incredible power of film to change hearts and minds, to break down barriers and create connections with those we might deem as other. I also did not know about the millions of dollars it usually takes to make a movie, or all the gatekeepers one must convince to let you in just so you can make a pitch, or the mysterious workings of an industry built on something so intangible as buzz. I did not know what I was committing to at all. I only knew I had an incredible urge to try. I made my first film shortly after E.T. It was called The Infant Strikes Back, a riff on The Empire Strikes Back, starring my little sister and brother, shot on Super 8, with a supporting cast of neighbors from the dirt road I grew up on, and a crew consisting of my very encouraging mom and dad. I still remember how alive I felt making this film. You could say I felt born to do this. In 1989, I enrolled here at the University of North Carolina and double majored in anthropology and radio, television, and motion pictures. I made 2 short documentary films as an undergrad and wrote and illustrated some children's books. And this became my submission package to NYU Graduate Film, a very prestigious program with alumni like Spike Lee and Martin Scorsese. I was so overjoyed when I got my acceptance letter that I gave no thought at all to the practicalities of an utterly naive country boy from Forsyth County, North Carolina, moving to the big, expensive city of Manhattan. During the orientation of the 36 students in our class from around the globe, the director of the program's first words to us were, "Look around. One of you will make it." Not exactly words of encouragement, and probably said to a class full of students who shared the same childhood dream as a reality check. It was in this moment that I started to realize my childhood dream may prove to be far more difficult than I had ever imagined. And yet, even though I was one of only a few students who had to work a day job while in this incredibly competitive environment, my childhood dream burned too brightly to ignore. I knew I would have to find a workaround for my lack of resources. This path of making something out of nothing led me on many detours of discovery. One of the first of these experiences started as a side hustle and developed into a parallel career. When I was casting my student films, I realized I could not afford to work with professional actors. So I thought, I'll go out on the streets of New York and find my own talent. As a child, one of my favorite things to do was looking for crayfish in the creek that ran through our woods. And I used this same methodology on the streaming streets of New York City. Leave no stone unturned. A friend of mine who worked in the fashion industry saw what I was doing and said, "You should do this for the company I work for." Soon, every Friday, I was going in with a stack of Polaroids of people I had found in exchange for $500. Since then, I've literally discovered hundreds of models, and with my partner, created a full-service casting company and modeling agency that helped support my work in film. One 14-year-old girl I found on vacation from Kentucky with her mom in New York went on to win an Academy Award. Her name is Jennifer Lawrence. A more recent discovery, Mitchell Slaggard, became the lead of my second feature film, Moss, before he had any acting experience at all. And now he's one of the stars of Landman, America's biggest new TV franchise. And Daniel Puig, who I found at 17 at a friend's party, just starred in Gran Turismo, the blockbuster hit. It was also through street scouting that I found the subjects for my first documentary feature, The Aggressives. Since then, 25 years ago, it has screened all over the world and was recently acquired by Showtime, along with its sequel, Beyond the Aggressives, released last year, my sixth feature film. These films, like all my films, were labors of love. They were shot on a modest budget with a skeleton crew, and all starred marginalized people with a focus on their humanity. They were all picked up by big platforms like Netflix, Hulu, or Paramount. They all got great reviews and won awards. They could all be considered successes. Yet, as a soon-to-be 55-year-old, I found myself in a midlife crisis. I overheard myself telling my therapist, well, I still haven't shot a studio film, and I don't have many of the securities that my peers with a 9-to-5 job have. My therapist's response to me was disturbing, shocking even. He said, well, maybe it's time you let go of your childhood dream. I'm still reflecting upon this statement. Strangely, my therapist's suggestion never even occurred to me as an option. As I took stock of my life, all that I have and all that I do not have, some clarity came to me. As impossible as my childhood dream may seem, pursuing it, even at great sacrifice, has given me a life of fulfillment, filled with passion, freedom, engagement. Just the fact that my 6 feature films exist at all is proof to me that I'm in alignment with destiny, and along the way to becoming a filmmaker, I have helped make the childhood dreams of many others come true. Ultimately, my therapist's words to me were a great gift. They forced me to embrace and acknowledge a preposterous truth. The me as a boy and the me as a man are connected by an impossible dream. To let go of my childhood dream would be to forget who I was, who I am, who I have always been, and most importantly, who I am yet to be. Perhaps you too are pursuing a childhood impossible dream. If so, I say be fearless. Every step you take along the way and every detour you make will be filled with experiences you never would have had if you hadn't have first listened to that inner voice as a child. Maybe you won't become rich. Maybe you won't become famous. Maybe you won't reach your goal at all. But I assure you, along the way, you will become your most authentic self, and that's priceless. And if you have deemed your childhood dream too impossible to pursue, I'd like to remind you that it's never too late to awaken the child within. Follow your bliss, says Joseph Campbell, the esteemed mythology historian. Quote, when you follow your bliss, you put yourself on a kind of track that has been there waiting for you all along, and the life that you should be living is the life that you are living, end quote. The film E.T. ends with a shot of young Elliot gazing up into the night sky. Even though his friend has left the earth, his memory keeps Elliot's childhood wonder alive. E.T. gives Elliot permission to continue taking leaps of faith and believing in something deemed impossible. By way of example of my own life, I offer you the same. Thank you.